Now, if you're following along on our agenda, we are at the point where we're going to meet the PEZ Outlaw himself. Steve Glew is here with us. How many of you, a show of hands, or you can use the little emoji or put it in the chat, how many of you have watched the PEZ Outlaw movie? How many people? It looks like quite a few people have watched it, which Jim hasn't seen it yet. It's okay, Jim. The camera adds 10 pounds for everyone. It's normal. Yes, it's a movie that has done very well on Netflix. It made the film festival circuit. It's gone around and through various film festivals. It popped up on Apple TV. It's available on Delta flights. It was in the top 5 on Netflix for several weeks. It still lingers in the top 10. And it is the story of the character of the PEZ Outlaw, but the man behind the character is Steve Glew. So we're going to find the right Steve. We have a couple Steves. So Steve, if you could turn your camera on or say something, we know which Steve it is.
Well, I'm going to try to spotlight both Steves, and if you're the wrong one, I will unspotlight you quickly.
Wrong one.
Okay.
Not bad.
We'll try the other one. There we go.
Hey, we found you, Steve. So let's ask Steve to unmute. Go ahead. Okay, there you go, Steve.
Am I ready?
Yep, we hear you. Wonderful. Cool. Wonderful. Looking good as always, my friend. Steve, when Jim had the movie at Michigan, when we did a screening, you left during the screening. You weren't there. You didn't watch the movie, and you said to us there that you hadn't seen the movie. Have you seen the movie yet?
No.
So
I won't ever watch it.
Why don't you want to watch it?
It'd mess up my head. It's just not the way to do things.
Yeah.
It's hard to make something like that and enjoy making it, but to look at it and stare at me, myself, or whatever is, it's like improper. I can't do it.
Yeah, I can understand that. You've won a couple of awards. Not only the movie has won awards, but you yourself, as an actor, have won a couple of awards.
Yeah, no, to be honest, it's like when people come here, and some people do. I was just telling stories and talking. It's really not hard.
Yeah. Well, you played a young version of yourself fantastically.
Yeah.
You must have done that before.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I spent a lot of time thinking about people. A lot of people have asked me about the movie. People that in my life, they ask me, should I watch it? Should I see it? And I say, absolutely. Then they ask, do you know Steve? Do you know this guy? And I go, yeah, of course. We all know him. How has your day-to-day life changed? Are you seeing an impact in your life from the film?
No.
No?
I don't go anywhere. I rarely go anywhere. Mom and I went to TSC and Family Farm and Home yesterday, and somebody was out looking at bushes and trees and grabbed Mom and then goes, I asked, what? And she goes, oh, the movie you're in, the movie. And I went, okay. I don't think about it a lot.
Yeah. What about people reaching out to you? You have people reaching out?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all been very, very nice, gratifying. I mean, I worked since roughly 1998 poorly. I didn't do a good job then. And for about a decade, I did lousy. And then in about 10 or 12, I got a little better. In about 15, I realized who I wanted to be and how I wanted to act. It's a very long road.
Yeah. I think in the movie, first off, they did a fantastic job, and
They
I know
did.
you haven't. They haven't. I know you haven't watched it, but you're portrayed very well in it, and you know, those of us who have met you, we know that you're a nice, fun, funny person to be around. What I think what we're rooting for in this movie is we're rooting for you to have a little bit of almost financial justice. Have you seen any financial
I have, but
justice?
it's going to be the outlaws that I have made the difference. As far as movie, people get ideas that when you make a movie, you make money. Well, you don't. You don't make
Yeah.
anything. But thank God for all the wonderful people I've met. Tina, Larry Mason, Tina Gunsalls. I always assume everybody knows who Tina is, but I guess shouldn't. Tina Gunsalls, Larry Mason, and just everybody. And that's why we did the Angels here recently, because there've been the biggest change. And I was talking with a young man yesterday about mental health issues, and I told him, be kind, be generous, help people. It comes back. And that's why I loved doing the Angel PEZ Outlaws, because I've had Tina was a very important change in my life. Tina Gunsall. Kathy's sister Joyce was a big impact. Cindy was down the road, the lady I helped. Larry, of course, Larry Mason. Larry's been phenomenal. But, you know, it takes work. It takes work.
Yeah, I think I've told you this before, but I actually think the best part of the movie is that you discuss mental health.
Yes.
You talk about that, you address it, and the movie addresses it. You know, between all of us, I think mental health is something that we don't talk about enough. So I thought that the best part of the movie was that.
I enjoyed that part. See, I've watched the movie, but different than you.
Right.
I watched making the movies, and I saw the quality of the work they were putting in that way. And then on the mental health issues, there's so much. What people need to know is they're not alone. That these thoughts that they have and what they're dealing with, they're not isolated. They need to talk.
Yeah.
Talk to people, and don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't hide. And I mean, the kid yesterday, I asked him, is suicide? And he goes, yeah. And I went, dude, it's only one thing I know is true in life. Only one. And I've been thinking about this since I was 5 years old. We're here, which is, it tells you you're meant to be here, and you're supposed to go through it. Play the hand. That's all you can possibly know about being alive, is play the hand out and do the best you can. And then just be kind to people. We try real hard.
Yeah. I think being kind is probably the best advice anybody can give anyone. One of the things I've enjoyed after the movie is that, you know, the talk about your paper towel, that you're holding it in your hand.
My buddy.
Your buddy there, you made a dispenser about it. And I think that kind of stuff brings that stuff to light. I mean, we're talking about this paper towel, this tick that you have, and you've almost embraced it in a way.
You have to. Again, when I speak with people that are dealing with mental health issues, you have to embrace who you are, what you are, and these are not your curse. They're not the thing that you have to hide. They're your gift. I have used the things, I mean, who does something for 20 years? Only a crazy person. And I mean, that takes a special kind of drive. But you know what surprises people? I'm an optimist. I mean, I lose it for a few days each month, but bang, it comes back, and it just surprises people. But yeah, anyway, you don't hide, you talk about it, you embrace it. It's not shameful. And the saddest part is a lot of the people that have mental health issues don't have the money for therapy or to get help. And that's a crying shame. That just really is. I found my method. I talk about everything. Poor Larry Mason, poor Brian Storkel and Amy Storkel, but I talk about everything. Well, that's proper to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about a few of the people that you've met. First, I want to talk about the people that before the 20-year gap from our perspective in the PEZ community, there was a 20-year gap where there was no Steve Glew. You disappeared. There was a 20-year gap, but you had friends before that. You were friends with Welch and with Tina before that. Do you feel you've had a chance to reconnect to some of those people?
Yes. There's a lot of people that when it got very, very bad.
Right.
Imagine about as bad as you can, and that's what it was. But so I didn't talk to anybody, and I kind of closed in. Again, it's part of it. A lot of people that have issues, they close in and make their world smaller so they can deal with it.
Yeah.
Try and find a sense of sameness and to be able to move on. But then lovely people you've known, Tina, David wrote me one of the kindest things I can remember, David Welch.
Mm-hmm.
When I was beginning this journey in about 98 to 2002 or 3. And he said, "You sure you want to do this? I mean, is it really a way to go? Are you sure you want to do this?" And he had a lot of good reasons, but his sincerity and caring for me was, well, I really appreciated it. And it spoke very well of him. David is one of my best friends. I love him.
Yeah. And I like that you've reconnected with some of those people, but also I see you, I've seen you at PEZ conventions, Michigan and PEZmania, and I see collectors that weren't alive 20 years ago coming up to you.
There's that.
So can you tell me how it has been coming back, re-emerging and meeting new people that weren't, I wasn't in the hobby 20 years ago, for instance. How has that been, a re-emergence of all these new people?
I love them. First, I love them. It's been very gratifying. And when you guys come to Pennsylvania or Michigan, I don't care. You want me to sign something? I'll sign anything you want. Well, you know, but, and, or selfies, let's do it. Let's get her done. Let's have fun. But, you know, because that's why I represent the character and this character's got a ways to go. We're just beginning. So I've enjoyed, and I mean, look, when you're quiet for about 2 decades about something, and all you can dream about is what you're trying to do and accomplish, when all of a sudden people care enough to want a picture, care enough to want your autograph. Oh my God, isn't that just about wonderful?
Yeah,
So anyway.
it is wonderful. I love seeing people. I remember last year at Pesmania, I walked in, I saw Tina wearing a white beard and a bucket hat.
She's a pistol.
Yeah, yes, she is. I love that. And you talk about the character, the PEZ Outlaw character, and you talk about it, and you know, when people talk to you, you talk about it in the movie. I just want to ask where bunny slippers, bucket hat, and a luscious beard, where do those come from? Why those items?
The beard, I've only shaved once in my life. When I thought I had to for a job. So this guy's been following me around. But the hat, the sun is not my friend.
Right.
I mean, not my friend. We don't want, you know, I'm trying to avoid skin cancer. What was the slippers.
Yeah.
There's a big secret about the slippers, but I think I got to talk to Tina about that.
Okay.
But when I came back, she bought me a pair of bunny slippers, and bang, they were on. Whatever that was, Michigan, 2019 probably.
Yeah, I think you should get a bunny slipper deal. I think I've seen more people in bunny slippers in the last 2 years.
You know the ones I really want? Terry
What's that?
cloth pink.
Oh yeah,
I
They
think
would look
they're
great.
so cool, but on the list of things I want to do, like getting little girl fixed, which is my tractor, new bunny slippers aren't high.
That makes sense. What about cereal boxes? I see one in the corner there next to you. You still doing cereal boxes? You still in the cereal box world?
Only from the standpoint of being a hoarder.
Yeah.
And I mean, these stacks behind me, there's another one there, more there, more there, more here, and then there's more downstairs. It's what I really like is Captain Crunch and Pebbles. The monsters are wonderful, and they had a really good box, Monster Mash, but the Captain is probably the best, because a cereal box is meant to be like a TV show. When it's out there doing something fun, like the guy that was on before me, that's a great, but Captain Crunch never lets you down. I just like cereal. It's part of my youth. PEZ, honestly, I only collect the PEZ that people give me. I don't seek any PEZ. But if somebody gives me one, it goes up on the shelf and I make them sign it. That's the only PEZ collection I have other than the Outlaws.
Right. Right. Yes. And those outlaws have become really popular, along with gnomes. Gnomes are popular.
Yeah, well, that's a joke with Larry. He's the elf wizard. I would love, and it's possible one day, who knows, but to a cartoon, a PEZ Outlaw cartoon, and Larry Mason is the elf wizard. And we work in Glow in the Dark and Crystal by the Outlaw wanting to be invisible so he can do his capers. Well, he messes up because Larry, the wizard, tells him to rub it on, and he drinks it. So he becomes glow in the dark for a while. And then he does it right and he gets crystal and all that kind of thing. But, you know, big airplane driving up on, people shooting at you with flour bags, you know, bags of flour and
Right.
stuff like that. It'd be funny.
That sounds funny. Or at least a comic strip. We need at least need
Yeah,
a
or
comic strip.
anything. Yeah,
At least need a comic strip.
yeah.
I think people have wondered about PEZ's side of all of this, this phenomenon of the PEZ Outlaw. Have you heard anything from PEZ officially?
No. Like I said, the first decade, from say 2000 to 2010 or 13, I was kind of really, really mean
Mhm.
and hurtful. So I'm not sure that guy would be somebody you want to talk to. After Warner Brothers fell through and we had a small lapse before I met Brian. By the time I met Brian, I was a changed person. A lot more kindness, a lot more acceptance, and owning the problem instead of blaming the problem. I do not hate Scott McQuinney in any way, shape, or form. PEZ Corporation, I've got nothing against them. I mean, certain facts are certain facts and they're a part of the story, but I have no room in my heart for hate anymore. I really don't. So, and life is too short. If they ever wanted to, I was thinking about this actually, prior to coming on. If they ever wanted to do a PEZ Outlaw, I think what I would love to do is have Larry Mason represent us to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because these outlaws that we've done are as much Larry as they are me. And I'd like him to handle it. Let him go in, make the deal, and he'll get a cut, I'll get a cut, blah, blah, whatever.
Right.
But, and I mean, I don't see how they could ever make them without having Larry around to talk to. He's
Yeah.
an amazing character. I love him.
They should hire Larry immediately. It's
Well, at least for
he's
this aspect.
Larry's unbelievably creative
And kind
so-
to a fault.
Oh yes,
That
yes.
knucklehead gives away more product. I hope you aren't watching, Larry.
He's here.
He says,
Yeah,
he says I can't keep a
he's
secret,
here.
and I can't. He's right. He pokes me about it. But man, I swear the guy gives away everything. I mean, God bless him, and I love him for it. And I know where his heart's at, and that's great. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So my questions are running. I have one more question, but I want to do it at the end. But I have a few people sending me in questions. First off, Larry wants to know if he really is a knucklehead. He sent me.
I've met so many wonderful friends on my return, and Larry has been one of the most delightful. Larry and I, when we get online talking about a new character, but we did it in public once out in, it was at Texas, the screening of the movie, the first
Right,
one.
right.
And Larry and I are up in the fancy rooms, and we're like two little kids playing and talking and ooh, ooh, no, yeah. It was wonderful. But knucklehead, yeah. So am I.
That's got to be the next outlaw. I want to see a knucklehead.
You don't get him going. But yes, of course.
How did you meet the Storkles? How did you meet them, Brian and Amy? Where did they come from?
Brian and Amy, they spotted the story a long time before they contacted me. And at that time, I had about 4 different people want to do it, but the very minute in that progression of people that I met Brian and Amy, boom. You know people's hearts when you see them. I tell people the best way to live is to project from within out. And by the same token, when I see people and meet people, sometimes I just know. And Amy and Brian are just amazing people. I got very lucky.
Yeah, they're wonderful filmmakers. And it seems like you had a good experience with them. It's just wonderful.
It was amazing.
I have a question about the beard again.
Yeah.
Okay. You know Ilona and Tom, of course. Ilona.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Another
Ilona, this is
knucklehead.
Ilona's question. Ilona wants to know if you have a beard routine for keeping it.
No.
Because those of us with beards, we're always looking for advice.
Against my dad, when I was little, I started washing my hair every day, and my dad said, "You'll go bald." Well, he was right. But that's all I do. I wash it every day along with my hair and the rest of me, and that's it. It falls down, it's done. Of course, I come in from chores today, and there's a little more to the routine, but it's Mom, and she's like picking hay out of my beard because I'm just like covered with hay and chaff. And of course, there's the thing, when I come in too muddy or too messed up, strip and then go shower.
Well, in the movie, we heard Kathy's opinion of you stripping, and it was positive. So I'm sure she's okay with that.
She's we're old people now.
Yeah. Morgan has a question for you. She's sitting right next to me.
It actually is hey Steve. It is a great segue, because I think one of the things that when I saw reviews of the movie, they really talked about, it was an interesting story, but ultimately there was a love story there with you and Kathy. And I would like to know, what does she think of all this now with the movie coming about and the events that you're going to, and what does she think about how it's all progressed?
She doesn't pay attention to it much more than I do, but during the bad time, you do something like you spend $500,000 and you mortgage and put yourself totally in debt, which was not a smart move. And you fail. Well, that puts a ding in somebody. It don't make them want to walk away. You have to earn back that trust. And so, as she has always done, as long as I'm not spending money and I found a way to do this without costing anything, go buddy, have fun, go crazy. Are you sure? You really should talk about that? Are you kidding me? Anyway, but it's slowly progressing towards something that is real and believable. And I mean, I don't know. You know, if Mom can get a car out of it.
Well, we're winding down on time. And I think that all of us want to know what's next. What's next for the PEZ Outlaw? Is there a sequel? Is there a book deal? What's next?
Book deal, nothing has happened. I don't know, nothing's happened. But it was released by Brian Storkel to TMZ that CBS is working on something.
Okay.
Their production arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say.
Okay.
And they're very, very serious about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you feel more vindicated now? Do you feel like some satisfaction now that you've been able to tell your story to a huge audience?
For me, it's like building something. Last winter, as people know, I built a chicken coop for my daughter.
Mhm.
And when you build something and you finish it and you look at it, you know the flaws, but you're satisfied with the work. And then you move on. It's about what that coop can be more than, you know, how chickens will be in it. They'll lay eggs and the eggs get eaten, happy, happy, happy. The same with this. It's building something. It's nothing special. It's just building something. And so I, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all rooting for you. I think we're all wanting to see more. I think people can't get enough of the PEZ Outlaw. And even more importantly, they can't get enough of Steve Glew, which is cool. And it's nice
Well,
to
we'll
have
be
you
at
around.
Pennsylvania and we'll be at Michigan.
Yes, yes. Yes, yeah. I'll plug Pezmania for us. Don't worry, Steve.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll do lots of plugging for us. But I wanted to thank you. Morgan thanks you. We thank you very much. Everyone thanks you for coming on, spending some time with us today, and being able to chat.
Can I ask you something?
Always.
Are you getting many non-Pezzies that want to come to Pezmania?
We have had some more interest in people who are asking about what PEZ conventions are. Because I think some of that is from your movie, where people they saw these scenes in these PEZ conventions and they say, what even is this? I didn't know these existed. And so people are asking us. We have had a few people tell us that they started collecting after the PEZ Outlaw came out.
Oh, that's wonderful.
A guy told me that he's bought 200 PEZ dispensers since he saw the movie. So he, Chris Jordan says in the chat that she's had more sales from people who've seen the movie and decided to start collecting.
Oh, good.
I think that any awareness is good awareness, and I think that your story is fantastic, and the movie is so well done that it was almost impossible for people not to get involved. For some population, it takes a special personality, but we got to activate that personality in them, and I think you did do that. I think you're probably the beginning of some people's stories in collecting.
Cool. All right,
So,
thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you, Steve.